Yeah, another episode. We're back, and
Yep.
we got quite a bit that's new. Actually, to be honest with you, this whole episode could probably be what is new, because
Yes.
there's quite a bit to it. So I'm just gonna go ahead and roll the intro music, and we'll get right into it.
Yep. Sounds good to me.
I gotta find it though. I know it's in here somewhere. It's actually a really good thing that we can pre-record that and just play it as necessary, whether we do it live while we're recording or we do it in post. Otherwise, you would have to sit there with a guitar every single time and do it. As always, I am your host. I'm Tim. I'm here because I kind of put this thing together and you're listening. I don't know why, but on the other microphone number 2, we call him the Guitar Father. I just call him Rick. How you doing?
Okay. How are you?
I'm doing good. No, forget about it.
There you go.
You know what you do to me? You upset me.
Man.
No discount.
Yeah. Yep. I know.
Yeah.
So
So Amanda is she's finally home. She just got home, and
Yep.
she's been really busy. So unfortunately, she's not with us this week. But hopefully, if everything goes right, we can get back on schedule, and the person you really want to listen to will be back. Hopefully.
That's true. Yeah.
You got to do a little bit of work on Amanda's guitar while she was there.
I did. I fixed it up, got it all working. The frets. I did do a whole complete setup on it. One of the things, the frets were pretty sharp, the edges, so I fixed all that. I rounded the neck there by the fretboard, took the sharp edge off, basically made it more comfortable to play for her. I had to shave the saddle down quite a bit, but after I got it all done, I restrung it with the 12s. I believe they were 12s. I'm not really sure, 100% sure, but it's like I just felt that I'm going to go down to a thinner string. And I put 9s on it, and they seem to sound really nice on there. So I did that, got that all straightened out, and she took that home with her. So hopefully she can play it.
Yeah, I was going to say, after all that work, after all the work, which honestly I feel like the manufacturer should be doing, or it should be something that the guitar shops are doing, or something like that. I don't know. But after all that work, can she play now?
Well, the guitar plays.
Okay.
Plays very nice.
Yeah, well, so all mine play. I don't.
Yes. No, I mean she's still got ways to go.
Oh yeah.
But we'll get there.
Yeah.
So not a big deal. So, but she did take it home, and I haven't talked to her since. Well, I guess I should say I did. I had to help her set her laptop, company laptop back up so that she can get back to work this morning.
Right.
So.
Well, good. I'm glad that you got that set up. Again, like I said, I don't know why when you buy a brand new guitar, especially one that is a couple $100 even, why there is so much that needs to be set up. I guess, if nothing else, it kept the luthiers in business.
Right. Now they call them, well, what you really need is you need a luthier to look at the guitars and stuff like that. A lot of the music shops now have what they call guitar techs, and maybe
yeah, like Worst Buy in their geek crew. Come on.
Yes, I know, and it's just like they can put new strings on and stuff like that, and maybe clean it up for you, but they can't really do any real. At least the ones that I've run into, the techs that I've run into,
right.
Really didn't know how to do proper setups. There are some that do, but I go into a lot of detail with the stuff I set up. So
yeah, one of these days, we should do some pictures, maybe some videos, setting up a guitar and some of the things to look at and stuff like that. I think that would be kind of cool.
Yep, that would be. I can accommodate that. That's not a problem. So let me see what else happened here. Doing a setup on your guitar.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
You want you
Nice,
want to talk
nice
about that?
segue. Yeah, yeah. Okay, hold on a second. So let me break this out. Everybody
Uh,
who's listening knows that there is a thing called New Guitar Day, and I had to wait a whole year before I could officially buy my new guitar, and I'm actually only 34 days away from that day. But I don't even remember, for whatever reason you were in the area and I decided to go out. We met at the local guitar box and we were looking around. We spent like what, 4 hours there.
yeah, something
And,
like that.
and,
Well,
and
I went for guitar strings.
oh, that's right. That's right. Cause
I
you
needed
had a
to
Cupid
get
you had to use.
I need to get Amanda the acoustic strings
That's
for her
right.
guitar
But,
because
but we sat and we hung out with the store associates and talked to them a little bit. And of course
yep,
yeah, I see what you mean because they took you. Oh, I got some stuff to show you. I got some stuff to show you, and they're taking you around and just kind of. I mean, some of it was really cool, you know.
yeah.
Um,
But I like what he said. He says he turned around and he said it's not a 57.
right, right, because he knows that'll never come in the store. But yeah, we spent a lot of time there, walking around, talking to people. We went into the acoustic or the platinum room or whatever. To me, it's an acoustic room.
It's an acoustic, yeah,
Yeah.
it is. They
So
don't have a platinum room.
right. So we went in there, and then we I don't know, we were there for 2 hours, and then we finally were like, let's go next door and get something for lunch. So we went and we had a quick little mediocre at best lunch, and
Right,
then
nuclear potatoes.
yeah, that was not what I remember them being.
No, I don't.
Yeah. So anyway, we go back and we're talking to him again, just spending a little bit more time there. And after all that time, the one just jumps out. It screams to me, and it's I believe it's the 40th anniversary Squire Strat.
Yes,
So it's got the fender thick body, and I mean, and it's supposed to be blue or some form of blue, but to me it looks like a flat white almost.
no, it's teal. Like
Maybe
it's
yeah,
more maybe blue. I thought it was like a bluish color, but it's
yeah,
actually a it's not a sea. It's a what is it? A seafoam green or something
yeah.
like
Well,
that?
that was they had two of them there. One was the seafoam green, and the other one was like the coastal blue or whatever. I
Oh,
don't
that's
remember.
right. You got the blue,
Right. Yeah. Well, I got what's supposed to be blue. I don't think it is, but it has this like copper pick guard,
yeah.
and
That's
I
nice.
think it's metal actually.
I don't know. I haven't taken it off yet.
Yeah. So anyway, it's really cool. I will get pictures of it as soon as it's out of the surgery room because I gave it to you to take
Yes,
home to do a setup on it because the bridge was
yeah.
sitting flat.
Yes, yeah.
Which I know I did not like that at all. So yeah, and then you're like, well, you better let mom know that it's yours. And I'm like,
Yes,
yeah,
yes. And
mom knows you're not going to buy a Squire. Come on.
well, you'd be surprised what happened when I walked in with that. I said to mom, I said, look, I said,
It wasn't
I
me,
have,
officer, I swear.
yeah, I said, I have a guitar in the car. It's not mine, it's Tim's. Oh, sure. That's what I got. And then Amanda says, oh, yeah, no, don't lie, it's yours. I said, no. I said, here's the receipt. Look at the bill.
That's why I'm like, take the receipt. So
Yeah, it was fun.
yeah. So once that comes back from its little cosmetic surgery there at your place, I'll get some pictures and get it up on social media, which we still have Instagram, by the way. Everybody knows that, even though we don't have too many people following. But we do have a Facebook page now. So I wanted to talk a little bit about that.
Yeah, that's,
So I kind of thought to myself, we're really only you've got 3 or 4 main social media platforms. And I'm not a big social media guy. I kind of, when I got to a point where I'm like, I'm done with social media. But you kind of have to use it to help get your name out there, to attract new listeners. So we have Instagram, and I'm like, this is kind of like that social media for the younger generation, probably like 35 and younger. I'm sure that, I'm older than 35 and I use it. So maybe even, 45 and younger. I don't know. But I feel like we're missing out on the opportunity to expose pandemic guitar to a different genre, the genre that grew up with Facebook, like they're Facebook addicts. That's their platform. So I said,
Yep.
all right, I'm going to create a pandemic guitar Facebook page. But in order to do that, I had to create my own account. Now,
Right.
all right, so whatever, I create an account, no problem. And I didn't put any pictures up there. I didn't put any information out there. I don't care. I don't want Facebook friends. I don't care. I don't want to see your drama. I don't want to see your thoughts and opinions. All I want to do is be able to post, little videos and when we got a new episode out there and just interact with the people who listen and that are on Facebook. So no problem. I create the page. No problem. I posted on the page, episode number 31 was out. Now, of course, we have 0 followers at this point.
Yeah.
And a couple days later, I invite you to be an admin.
That was your first mistake.
Yeah. Well, I just get you involved and then you take over from there, But yeah, so as soon as you clicked the accept admin button, my account got suspended. And because Pandemic Guitars page is linked to my account, that also got suspended. So I'm like, okay, why? Well, apparently they have these bots that basically just crawl their sites and look for fake accounts or habits of people who are creating fake accounts, and they suspend it. So, all right, now I can appeal this suspension. Now, I don't know if you've ever worked with the appeals process with
I never did.
Book of Face. No?
No, I never did. No.
All right. So what you have to do is type in your phone number, and then they text you a code. You enter that code into Facebook. Then it pops up with the check to make sure you're not a robot check. Then it asks you which pictures have bicycles in it or whatever.
Yeah. Cars, bicycles,
Right.
stores. Yeah.
And then it asks you to upload a picture of yourself. So I'm like, okay, fine. I take a picture of myself with a look on my face that is like, this is stupid. And I uploaded it. Nothing. And they say, and then I submitted it, and that's it. There's no place for me to like type in like, hey, here's the situation, so on and so forth, just like I'm telling you. So the next day, because they say it usually takes a little bit more than a day for the appeals process to work through. So the next day I get an email from their automated email system that says, hey, Tim, here's some people in your area that you might want to be friends with. Now, I really don't think that anybody monitors that email address, but I replied back, how stupid is your smart system if you're going to suspend my account and then tell me, hey, here's some people that you might be interested in being friends with? Like, how does that make sense?
I know. That doesn't.
And I swear within 5 minutes, my account was all of a sudden reactivated.
Yeah.
Okay. So fine, no big deal. Then a couple days later, like 2 days later or whatever, I'm just sitting up here in my little studio and I'm kicked back and I'm just playing around on the guitar, and I record myself playing a lot. And, I'm like, oh, hey, I actually did this one little piece pretty good. I'm actually happy with it. So what I did is I edited that piece of me playing, and then I went into Final Cut and I used our intro that we have for the podcast if we ever decide to do like live shows or video or anything like that.
Right.
I'm like, I've been sitting on this thing for a while. I want people to see it. So I put it out there. 12 hours later, I get an email that my account is suspended again because I'm trying to post as somebody else. And that violates the terms of policies. And I'm like, what are you talking about? I'm Pandemic Guitar. I tried to post as Pandemic Guitar.
Right.
So whatever. Then I finally went online. I did some Google Foo, and I found an appeals email for Facebook. So I wrote an email, short, sweet, simple. What's going on? And I said, is there a way that we can prevent this from happening? Because I don't want to be friends with people. I just want to be Pandemic Guitar. That's it.
Right.
I have not received an email back, but about a day and a half later, my account is reactivated. But now I have lost the ability to post as Pandemic Guitar. I can only post as me.
Nice.
So
Nice.
that's what's been going on with Facebook. And I'm sure that if you've been on Facebook for a couple years, you've used it, you have some pictures on there, whatever, probably wouldn't have this issue.
Yeah, that's true.
But it is frustrating. I will try to post stuff on the Facebooks. I'll try to be active there, but I'll just tell you this right now that if they shut me down again, that's it. I'm not going to appeal it. I'm just going to let them delete the account, and it is what it is.
I agree.
So sorry about it, but I've got enough. I've got enough things going on to occupy my time that I do not need to be fighting. I left Facebook the first time to get away from the frustration and the BS.
Yep.
So they're gonna make it difficult. They're gonna give me the BS. Then I'm sorry, everybody. I'm just not gonna mess around with it, and I'm just gonna move forward.
No, I don't blame you on that one. So another thing we had happen was my MacBook Pro decided to crash.
Oh, yeah. So
that
actually,
was something.
Yeah, so that's actually a reason why we're recording later than what we originally planned. Because
Yes.
your MacBook crashed at the
Yes.
most inopportune time.
Yes. What happened was that I was sitting here and I just finished up doing some work on it and getting some things done on it, and then I said, "Oh, hey, there's an upgrade for me." And so I went out and I looked at it, and it's like, okay, it had to upgrade Safari, and it was an OS upgrade because it was like 2 gig or something like that. And I'm like, oh, okay, I might as well. I don't have any time. I'll let it go. So I clicked on the thing, and it said about 25 minutes it would take for the complete upgrade. So I was doing something in my room here, and next thing you know, I was looking at it, and I said, oh, it's like 30 minutes, and I got a black screen up there.
Yeah.
Nothing, just dead. So I hit the space bar, nothing. So then I waited a little bit longer, maybe about another 15, 20 minutes longer, and then I decided, okay, I'll power it off and power it back on. So it would come up, and it would just display the Apple logo on there, and then just die. So that's when I think I called you, and we tried looking online and trying a bunch of different things, and it was quite a mess.
Yeah, because I remember when you called me, I was like, all of a sudden my phone rang. I looked at the phone, and it was you. And then I noticed the time, and I'm like, oh, what happened? Something's wrong, because you never call me that late.
Right.
So I'm sitting there like, oh no, what's happened? What's going on? And you're like, I think my MacBook took a dump, and or something like that. And I'm like, oh, okay, it's a computer problem.
Yes. Yeah. No, it was really strange. So then after I got off the phone with you, I called Apple, and the support gal started helping me out with some stuff. And I asked her, is there a charge for this? Because I don't have insurance on it, the Apple Care. And I looked to see if I had Apple Care on it, and it expired, but I didn't know. It didn't tell me when. So she basically said, no, for software problems, you don't need Apple Care. We just handle it. So I said, great. So she had me instructed me that I could go into the store, or if I knew somebody that had another, like a MacBook Pro or something current, I could do it. It had to have an M1 chip or an M2 chip in it. So I made an appointment at the Apple store and went down there and talking to the guy, and my Apple Care expired 6 days or 7 days before that incident.
I was like, yeah, that's your luck. Yes. Everything always breaks the couple days after the
right
insurance or whatever passes it.
Well, this didn't break. I gave it to their what do they call it? It's not the Geek Squad. It's the
Apple
Genius Bar. Genius. Yeah, Genius Bar. So I don't know what they serve there, but the
high priced electronics.
Yeah, the guy he says to me, "We'll get you set up in about an hour or so here." So it took him about 35 minutes, and they couldn't restore what was there.
35 minutes isn't really that bad though. Like I kind of figured you'd be there for like an hour and a half, or you drop your computer off and they'd text you an hour and a half later or whatever.
Right. No, they didn't. It was actually pretty good, and the guy was really nice and helped me out quite a bit.
Well, that's what they're there for.
So, got it up and running, brought it home, and then I had the labor-intensive task of installing all the crap I had on it. So
Yeah. I don't use what is it, the Time Machine or whatever the backup
I
for
don't either.
Apple. I don't use it. And then you had that happen, and I was like, maybe I should start using it because I would hate to
Yeah,
have to go through and reinstall all this stuff from scratch.
right. Well, the thing is that I got quite a bit of an audio setup, and some of it is I'm going to say it's pretty complicated
Yeah.
in some aspects because I have an Evo 16 as my audio interface that connects to my computer, and I forgot to install that on before we recorded, and of course the Mac won't without knowing, because you see, I guess if I was hooked into channel 1, I guess it might work because it would just go through the audio interface into the Mac, but my mic is in channel 3, which I'm not sure. But once we installed the software, once I installed the software, then I was able to get stuff going through and stuff like that. And we had a little bit of a problem with the audio at
Yeah.
with Zoom, because that's what we use.
We almost didn't even get to record tonight because of technical difficulties trying to get your MacBook all set up.
Right. So now it's all set up, and I am experiencing a little bit of a problem with Logic Pro, and it seems that the bottom of the waveform is being cut off. It just shows the top.
I feel like
So
that's a view or something. I don't know. I don't think that's going to affect the audio, but don't worry. We have a couple backups in place. So
yeah,
so,
I have my H6 is going here, so I have a backup on that.
yep.
So that's not too bad. I'm hoping that everything comes out okay and everybody can hear me just fine.
Oh, I'm sure they can.
Yes. Okay.
Whether
So
they
what
want
else
to or not, that's another question.
Yeah. So that was our interesting week.
Yeah. Well, about 2 weeks, really.
Right. That's
Yeah.
true.
Yeah.
So what's the main topic these days?
We did an episode on the baritone guitar.
Yes.
And
yes.
and I remember when we were at the guitar box, we asked, "Do you have anything baritone here?" Because we both
Yes.
kind of wanted to check it out, right?
Yes, I did.
And unfortunately, they didn't because they only have so much room in the store, and they gotta keep things that sell. And like we said, they're not very popular. So I thought to myself, what's another type of guitar that is going to be a little bit harder to find when you're out and about?
I have a solution. I
Okay.
have the solution for that.
All right.
And let's talk about 12-string guitars.
There you go. That's exactly what I was thinking about. It's like this was
like
all
magic.
premeditated or something.
Yes. Yeah,
Yeah.
12-string guitars are just like I'm going to say well, they're nothing like a baritone guitar, but they're out there, but they're not very popular.
Yeah.
I mean, you just don't
I was
see
going
them
to
all over
say
the place.
when we were at Guitar Box, I may have saw one.
Well, I think I seen an acoustic,
Right. Yeah.
but I didn't see any electric.
No. I did see they
So-
did have one 7-string because I was like, oh, this is really cool, and I was kind of looking at it and I'm like, something's not right about this. Oh,
Right.
that's it. She's got an extra string.
Yep, extra parts.
Yep. The spares. That's all they are.
Yeah, and and we could do another episode on 7-string and 8-string guitars because they do make an 8 out there.
Yeah, they sure do.
So and those are two that are not really as popular. I mean, they've come into they're a little popular, more popular than the 12-string and the baritone guitars, but still, it's just an instrument you just don't you don't see them very much in stores. I do see the 7s and the 8-string electrics,
Yeah.
but there's not very many. There's maybe 2 or 3 in the store.
Well, see, and all it's going to take is somebody to basically, I don't want to use the term influencer, but that's kind of what they do on social media. You know, you get somebody that creates a ton of really good content that catches on. And if that person's playing an acoustic 12-string, they're going to regain popularity and you're going to start to see them around. What's
Right.
that? I know Amanda was telling me, and I don't remember if you were involved in that chat, but the guy, you've heard of Oliver Anthony, haven't you?
No, I've never heard of it.
So he's this guy that's just huge. He blew up on social media, and his songs are like super, like, screw the government, whatever. And it's an acoustic
Oh,
guitar. And I'm going to try to find this picture. And I know that the audience listening won't be able to see it, but hopefully you'll look at it and you'll be like, oh, that's what this is. Um,
okay. Yeah, that's oh, I forgot what they call them. It's begins with a D. It's on the tip of my tongue. Yep, I see it. And they're it's that acts as like a megaphone for the guitar.
yeah, but he's
I can't
yeah,
it begins with a D.
yeah. It looks like a small car rim in the middle of the acoustic, and that's like his main thing. He's always seen. So I'm really waiting for the day that I walk into the store and those are all over the place because people are going to want to buy them.
Right. Yeah. That's another guitar that's not popular, and I can't Diablo or something like that. They're called.
Let's see. What if I Googled, and I know that we're completely going squirrel here, but I'm gonna Google acoustic guitar with hubcap.
Oh, that's I. Well, you might find something.
Yeah, it did.
Begins with
Some of them actually are real hubcaps.
really. Yeah. No. They resonators. I should say.
Yeah, that's hubcap. One of the places they have a hubcap howler resonator guitar kit.
Right. Right. What is it? There's a. Do you see anything that begins with a D, like Diablo, Deblo, or something like that?
Not off of the quick search.
Okay, there is one that's actually produced, manufactured. It's an actual resonator, even though it looks sort of like a hubcap.
Huh? Resonator guitar.
Yeah, you can try that.
Yeah. So that brings up a whole lot more. I wonder if it's just called a resonator, acoustic electric resonator guitar.
Right, but there's an actual manufacturer out there that does those, and it begins with a D, and I can't think of
Dobro.
Dobro,
Dobro. Hound
yep,
dog.
that's it.
Round neck resonator.
Yep, that's it. Okay. Yeah, there is an actual manufacturer out there that does that, and that's a sort of like the baritone guitar, and I mean it's a specialty, or the 12-string.
Right.
The guitars. I believe back in the 19th century that when they came, 12 strings were basically they were considered novelty instruments and built and sold very cheaply. 12-string guitars were first used by street performers.
Well, I think that when you hear first off, who's the person that's like, I think I can fit 12 strings on this thing. Like right. That's got to be a bet, right? Right. And then you've got people out there that, I mean, because I think that your chords and the people who know how to play, like 6 strings makes sense, and I would say 12 strings at first was looked at as a novelty. Is like, why do you need this?
Yeah, well, but the thing is that to make it more harmonizing,
right? Yeah, the acoustic in Hotel California, I think, is a 12 string.
Right. Yes, and we'll get there to some of the popular stuff.
Okay.
Yeah, and that was the Eagles with maybe I shouldn't have mentioned the name, but Hotel California was a very popular song and they used a 12-string on it.
Yeah.
So, but some of the history in the 12-string, it goes back a long time ago, and nobody really knows if it was the Italians or the Mexican immigrants that where it came from. The Italian music had a very long history of double-string guitars like the mandolin and the lute is another one that are all double stringed. So it just goes back, and
I don't think I would have thought that Italy or the Italian history was there, because I've always, like, growing up, every time I've seen a 12 string, it was like in an old spaghetti western.
Right. Yeah, I know. And in some of those cases, it did show up in the westerns. It showed up just like the baritone guitar showed up in the 50s and the 60s, and every decade it shows up, and it was used in country western and all that other stuff. So I mean, it goes through that same phase as everything else, but it's when it catches on and it's very popular is when it really takes off, and you really see a lot of people using them. Mm-hmm. But in my opinion, I think that the 12-string it just hasn't become very popular. Because I can get that same sound the 12-string has by using a pedal too.
Sure, yeah, but I mean, it's not. Yeah, you can, and you could probably fool a lot of people with that, but it's just
Right.
not the same. You know, I have
No.
an acoustic. It's even a lush acoustic effect, and
Right.
okay, I guess it kind of has that acoustic sound, but I can tell that's definitely electric.
Yeah. No. I agree. I know that there's nothing as genuine as a real 12-string guitar, but yeah, I mean, it did make it into the American Southwest and was used for quite a while. It did
Hmm.
make it into the blues and the
Really?
folk songs and stuff like that. Was all used. It was a certain people like Willie McTell and a few others. It popularized the instrument in the blues and folk music circles.
I bet you when Willie Nelson's guitar was young, it had 12 strings.
No, he always used six. That was Trigger. Trigger.
Trigger, yeah, yeah,
He said Trigger.
yeah.
That's his name of his
Grew
guitar.
old and lost a few strings.
Oh, he still uses it.
Oh, I know. Yeah, that's
He's still
he's
that thing is
his the care that goes into trigger.
Trigger. Yeah.
Wow, the care that goes into that guitar is a documentary in itself.
Yes, and some of the best luthiers in the world have worked on it. So, I mean, to try to keep that top stable
Mm-hmm.
because it has a big hole in it where he puts his hand. But
Yeah.
anyhow, getting back to the 12-string guitar, it wasn't until about, I would say, about the 1960s when the guitarists like Pete Seeger and George Harrison with the Beatles, and James Roger Gwynn made it popular for pop and rock music following the 60s revival. And then we go up to the 70s, and we had bands like America, Kansas, the Eagles that used the 12-string guitar also. So it's not it's still not going to be popular. And one of the reasons why, in my opinion, and just my opinion, why it's not possible, why it's not popular, I should say, not possible, but popular, is because I bend strings.
Well, yeah.
On a 12-string guitar, it would be quite a task bending strings.
Yeah,
But,
I
but,
would say so. I mean, even my acoustic, I like that's one of the first things that I noticed is that you can't bend the strings. Like
right.
maybe there's a few frets and a few spots that you could get a little bit of a bend, but otherwise
Yep.
you're not going to hear it. Even if you do bend that string, you're not going to hear it.
Yeah, but bending strings was also a problem in playing solos with the guitar. I would say the guitar is basically used for rhythm, chords,
Yeah, which would
and
make sense.
arpeggios.
Yeah, which would make sense, and that's how I like all the songs that I'm kind of thinking of in my head. I was like, oh yeah, okay, it was just used as a rhythmic piece or an accentuating piece, but I don't think necessarily it was the lead.
Right.
I mean, I guess some people would say that maybe there's a couple out there where the acoustic was the lead, but
Right.
whatever.
Yep. Yeah, and then it became even more popular when Tom Petty and Jimi Hendrix and Stevie Ray Vaughan. I know Stevie Ray Vaughan used it on a piece called "Life Is Like a Drop." And
Oh,
he
that's
uses a 12-string.
right. Yeah, I
Yeah,
forgot
it's an
about that.
acoustic guitar. Yeah, 12-string. Now there is one artist that really made it popular, and that was Jimmy Page with "Stairway to Heaven."
Yeah.
He used an SG. I think it was. I don't remember what the SG was, but it was a double neck. It was 6 strings with a 12-string on top.
Yes, I've seen
And
pictures of that.
yeah, and that guitar for Gibson sold like it was selling like wildfire after
Oh,
that song came out.
yeah, I bet. Why would they? I don't know. I always kind of look at the doubles where it's one on top of the other. Why not just make it so you just flip it over? So it's acoustic on one side, electric on the other.
I have no idea.
Uh,
It's a good idea. Why don't you come up with something like that?
I'm sure that it's been done, and it was unsuccessful for whatever reason. I have no idea.
Yeah. The other part of this is another reason why 12 strings guitars they're known for their longer headstocks, and also being that it has 12 strings, it also puts a lot more pressure on the fretboard
Right.
and the fingerboard and the neck,
Yeah,
which
doubles the cost
creates
of strings too.
yeah, and it creates warping in the neck and all sorts of problems. So that's another reason why you have to be really You have to be aware of what, before you go out and buy one. I would I would look at those facts.
Sure.
But let's see, we can talk about some tuning of the strings. I mean, the tuning is just basically EADG. It's tuned normally, like a regular guitar. And
Yeah, because isn't it like how is the tuning? Because it's like two strings are the same, they go together, but they're off from each other just a little bit or something.
right, they're just like an octave difference.
A full
So
octave.
yeah.
That's and I'm just while you're talking, I'm just kind of doing some online research on 12
Yeah.
strings. And they do
Right,
have,
'cause-
some down. I'm seeing some for like, 250. And of course up to several mortgage payments.
Yeah, I mean, basically what it is you have a thinner string. You have two strings
Mhm.
that are basically right next to each other. Like let's take the high E.
Right.
You have two E strings there. One is thinner, the other one is a little thicker,
Mm-hmm.
and they're one octave apart to give it that nice tone, that octave. It sounds like multiple instruments playing. That's really what it's
Interesting.
doing. So yes, and there are some things like the Rickenbacker 360 12 string reverses the order. So I'm not sure what that actually sounds like, but I do know it.
It's how you play your
they do
music in reverse forwards.
I have no idea. That would be. I have never, to be perfectly honest with you, I've never played a Rickenbacker.
Oh, neither have I. I hear a lot of people like talk about them like they're the best thing since sliced bread.
Yeah, it depends on what you're looking for in a guitar. That's the key, And I don't know when it comes to a Rickenbacker, I don't know if the quality's there or what, but a lot of people seem to be want them, and they look for them,
Right.
So they can draw.
And they've got a little bit
hard.
of a bankroll to shop with too.
Yes, that's true too. Yeah. And there's also, we can talk about Nashville tuning too, and that's a little different, but it's you hear that in like songs like "Dust in the Wind" by Kansas, "Wild Horses" by the Rolling Stones. You can hear those type of guitars there. They call them Nashville tuning. It's a little different. It's a different tuning than the standard tuning. So Nashville has to be different.
Right. Yeah, that's like tuning the the bottom four strings or something like that.
Yeah.
It like one octave up from a normal 6 string, and so and then you played the two in unison, and it's supposed to give a shimmering texture.
Yes, yeah, that is true. Let me see here. What else we got? Well, we talked about Jimmy Page, I can't even say that word.
Pop star, popular.
Yeah, popularized the double neck 12 string. Gibson that he played there with that, and that was used on the song "Stairway to Heaven." He used that in a lot of his live performances. The double neck 6 string, 12 string SG.
Yeah, if you jump on the YouTubes and search for Jimmy Page, there's tons of videos out there of him playing, and
right.
he has tons of videos with him playing the double neck guitar, whatever you call it,
Yep, but it sounds really good. That's
it does sound,
it fills.
yeah, it sounds
it fills
full.
in. Right. Yeah, instead of a 6 string. If you did it on a 6 string, I mean, you could do it on a 6 string guitar too, but it's not going to sound as full as a 12 string guitar.
Right.
And especially in that opening part where he's playing just the guitar itself, and there's no band behind him. He wants that fullness of that rich sound of the 12 string.
Right. Right.
And then some of the people that have used it, some of the songs and people, I got like "Space Odyssey" by David Bowie, "Hard Day's Night," the Beatles, "Ticket to Ride," the Beatles, "Wanted Dead or Alive."
I was just gonna say, I'm pretty sure that "Wanted Dead or Alive" was done on a 12 string, because I've tried playing that song on a 6 string, and it does not okay. I know what that song is, but it does not sound anywhere close to the record.
Right. Yep. And then you got "As Tears Go By" by the Rolling Stones, "Closer to the Heart" by Rush, "More Than a Feeling," the Boston, great group there. I really like Boston. "Free Falling" by Tom Petty.
It's a good one.
"Wish You Were Here" by Pink Floyd. There's one for you.
Really? Now I have to listen to that song again.
Over the Hill and Far Away by Led Zeppelin, Stairway to Heaven by Led Zeppelin, which I already,
Yep, I knew that one.
right, and the big one, Hotel California by the Eagles.
Hotel California,
Mhm.
such a
Yep,
scary place.
yep. Those are some of the biggies that big songs that you see
Pay
out there.
twice,
They,
market price.
yep, they used the 12-string guitar, and and had very good luck. I mean, these the what is it, 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12 that I named all had huge successes with the 12-string.
Oh yeah, and I'm sure that there's many, many, many more. We just
Oh,
obviously
absolutely.
can't 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 fit them all into one show. That's for sure.
Yes, I mean, there's tons and tons more of artists that you've used them, and there's a lot of artists out there, street artists and band members that still use them today, and they'll always use
Well,
them.
have you ever had the opportunity to play a 12 string?
I have.
You have, and was it
Yes.
like pretty much the same, or is there like a huge difference in playing? Like, and I guess what I'm asking more specifically is you teach yourself how to cover one string with a finger, or maybe two strings with a finger, but now you're
Right.
like now you can have all your fingers covering two strings or one string. So I mean, like,
Well,
there's got to be a curve to learning that.
the key is I would stay away from. There's a few things I would stay away from with an acoustic until you really learn it. An acoustic 12 string, or even an electric 12 string. One of them is vibrato. In other words, because your one finger has to hold down two strings at one time to move the string up and down on the fretboard, on the frets, to get a vibrato.
Mm-hmm.
That would be pretty hard because the string may come up or from underneath your finger and make all sorts of noise.
Two strings, twice the pressure.
Yeah. Yep, twice the pressure, but to move it up and down to create a vibrato is pretty hard. You can do it though. String bending would be another one that would be extremely hard. You can do it. And I don't know if I would use. What's really weird is what took me a little time to get used to is the pick. Is because I mean you have to remember there's two strings there and you're not hitting just one. They are pretty close together, but still you could get into a thing where you just hit the one string and not the other.
Yeah, that makes sense. I mean, you're
are
already trying to find one string. Now you got to find two.
Well, they're right next to each other, but still,
that's
it
good.
still can be. Huh?
I said, well, that's good. Could you imagine if it was 12 strings, but its partner was always 6 strings away?
That's true. That would be, that would be pretty ridiculous.
Yeah, I don't think. I mean, it's cool to, kind of shed a little bit of light on these guitars. I mean, of course, I knew 12 strings, but I didn't know anything about it. Baritone, I didn't know anything about. So it's kind of cool to shed light on it. I think I would probably buy a baritone before I would buy a 12-string acoustic, unless it was just one heck of a deal.
I like the baritones. They're sort of like halfway between a bass and halfway between a guitar. So you got sort of like the top half of the bass.
Mm-hmm.
The baritone starts out on the low neck, on the low side of the neck, on the where the headstock is. It's basically the bass, the high part of the bass guitar, and then as you go up the neck, the closer to the bridge, it's basically coming up to a regular guitar, the low end of the regular guitar. So it's like right in between.
Yeah, so, kind of the best of both worlds.
Yes, and there's a lot of people that have used them, but they're just not that common. And same thing with the 12 strings. I think the 12 strings are probably more common than the baritones.
Yeah, I mean, I would say so. I would agree with that.
Yeah, but I mean, maybe on another episode we can talk about the 7 strings.
Yeah, we could lump kind of the 7 and 8 strings together. Because I do actually know a couple of artists that they do play a lot with the 7 and 8 strings.
Right.
And that's actually one of them. I think it was either last Christmas or 2 Christmases ago. I asked for a book that one of my favorite artists, he did one of his albums, and he put all of the tablature and the sheet music and everything in a book. And I was like, oh, cool, yeah. And then I got home. Well, actually, it didn't arrive in time for Christmas. It arrived like a couple months later. But when I finally got it, I looked it up and I was like, oh crap, most of this is 7-string.
Yeah. Yeah.
There's only like, out of the 12 songs that are in there, I think there's only like 3 that are 6-string. So
see that, yeah, I think that they should tell. Well, I don't know. I don't know the artist. I probably do, but I remember that whole scenario.
yeah, which not a big deal. I mean, maybe one day, I'll, who knows? Maybe next year when it's New Guitar Day again, I'll be sitting at a spot where I'm like, you know what? I want to try a 7-string or an 8-string, and then I can actually bring that book out and maybe learn something there. So
there you go. Yeah, me, I'm going to stick with the 6. I just happen to like the sticks. I might someday. I might get a baritone. I don't know. I'd have to see. So I might trade in a few. Mom probably wants me to trade in a few.
Nope. I like that meme that I sent you earlier with the Undertaker from wrestling sitting up in the coffin, and it says, "You at your own funeral when your wife starts saying she's going to sell your guitars."
Yep.
Rise.
I know. I showed Mom that.
Yeah, did she get a good laugh out of it?
I don't know if she laughed.
She was probably like, truth.
Yeah. Yeah, she probably said, "You're never getting up." So
so anyway, you got anything else for this episode?
No, nothing really. Just trying to get everything straightened out again so that we can do the next episode.
Yep. And I'm not 100% sure what that's going to be. First, we got to get Amanda back on board. Hopefully she is not as busy as she has been. And I get it. We all get busy some days.
Yep, I know.
Oh, I finally got my birth certificate, so I'm a real boy. That's good.
Yep, there you go.
So now I can be a real podcast boy.
There you go.
Yeah. So yeah, I guess we'll just kind of keep making this up as we go. And hopefully you keep stopping back and listening. As always, you can reach out to us by email, pandemicguitar@icloud.com, or Instagram @pandemicguitar. Right. Hit us up. Let us know what you want us to talk about. We can do a little bit of research. We can do some learning. Maybe you just want to tell us your story. I have no idea, but just talk to us, please.
Yep. Yep.
Until next episode, I'm Tim. That's Rick. Bye, everybody.
Yep. Take it easy, everybody.